welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about violence and bullying in schools. I'm Rita and today it's all about you. On any given way you will find news about violence in the whole world. Youth violence causes more injury in kids and in teenagers than any other disease. This can happen on the streets, on the school, or even at home. There is a great concern about the incidence of violence between young people. The causes are always very complex and must be really studied and understood by parents, by teachers and by healthcare providers. The World Health Organization alerts that 43% of all the homicides in the worldwide in a year are in a range between 10 years old and 29 years old. So it's homicides in the between young people that are almost half of the whole homicides in the whole world. And the causes for this happened can be really different. So first we were going to talk about the individual causes. Any kind of violent behavior in youth can really come from some issue in the mental health. It can come from a behavior disorder like conduct disorder, social disorder, or any kind of other psychological problem. Early use of substances like drugs or alcohol can really conduct to a violent behavior. Low school achievements or low interest in school can always be a cause of violence between youth. And of course, to be exposed in the family, in a violent family, can cause that our teenagers can grow thinking that violence is something that it's okay. And the last thing or the last cause of violence in an individual way can be fear of being rejected, fear of not belong to some kind of group, fear of other people, or fear of rejection. So sometimes it's just a defense mechanism, and it's something that can happen in these kind of feelings. On the other way, these causes came from the social environment. The poor supervision of parents, inconstant discipline practices, low attachment in the family between the kids or the teenagers and the parents or the family, the nuclear family, parent substances abuse, criminality, delinquents, domestic violence, parent depression like unemployment, like low income in the family, poverty or disease environment, and easy access to drugs, alcohol and other kind of toxic substances. So it's important that parents and teachers be aware of any kind of changes in our kids. These changes can be mood swings, can be anger, much more frustration, losing temper in an easy way. We can see if the kid is much more aggressive with, for instance, animals, pets, with siblings, if he has a tendency to be a stalker or to vandalize property. If the kid is showing signs that he's talking a lot about death, about killing, about ways of killing, about weapons, and all of these sort of things. And for instance, be aware if there occur any kind of traumatic event that can cause this change of behavior, or that can really mark a difference in the way that the teenager start to see things and behave about things and about others. Bullying is an intentional and repeated act that occurs through physical, through verbal and relational form, where different kinds of power are present. And this can happen in schools, in internet like cyberbullying, in any kind of relationship, and even in families. The causes of bullying can be very different and can really be focused not on the person that is a victim, but on the person that is the bully. It's not really something that we can say that it's from the social environment in general. Usually it can be out of despair, of anger and jealousy. Any kid that feels that he is a victim of harassment, bullying or violence in a repeated way can really feel depression, anxiety, hungry, stress, helplessness, insecurity, lack of trust, develop a mental illness, or even commit or try to commit suicide. For you parents, it's important that you become a role model for your kids, being empathic and compassionate. Spending time with them, being with them, explain and talk about violence and bullying, and try to protect them, particularly in social media, dangerous. Discourage violence in any time, and try to make them understand that there always other way of saying things, and there are always another way to do things that doesn't include violence. Don't allow your kids to have access to any kind of weapons, particularly guns. Encourage to have a hobby, an extra curricular activity, or even other kind of activity that he likes. Talk and discuss about unhealthy relationships and unhealthy behaviors, and provide quality education since early years. School must be strong when have to make interventions about violence, and have strong consequences for this kind of behaviors. Must have zero tolerance about bullying and other kind of violences. Connecting kids with extra activities or group activities much more often. Create positive kinds of education, and even give these tips or give some information about this kind of positive education, not just to teachers but to parents too. Harassment, violence and bullying are stuff that we are a little bit tired to hear about it, but I think it's time for all of us take a little bit of responsibility and take some approaches in order to reduce this number and to reduce these behaviors between all the youth people. So it's important that the example start at home, and you as a parent start as an example of a non-violent person and a non-violent education for your kid. It's important that the school have this zero tolerance about this issue, and it's important that we understand that sometimes the causes are much more stronger and much more sad and much more important to address than the behaves. So it's important that us as persons that can really help these kind of kids be aware that we are not here to make any kind of judgment, but we are here to understand and help all the kids to address this issue. And that's all for today, guys. I hope you like it. I hope you share with a friend, comment if you want, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye!